A number of weeks ago, we found ourselves back in the hospital. Simcha Dov was very sick. His white blood count was off the charts. There was internal bleeding, and the situation was very grim. But Baruch Hashem, Hashem sent a lot of good shluchim, and was there a lot of siyata d'shmaya, and Hashem brought us home again, right in time for Purim. Purim day we came home, and we were able to be here as we celebrate in Yerushalayim, Shushan Purim, and we were able to be home with Simcha Dov, and to be able to celebrate with tremendous amount of hakaras hatov and gratitude. We still have some concerns, but Baruch Hashem, we are very grateful to Hashem, and therefore, out of hakaras hatov for this tremendous nace that Hashem did to help us once again have a refuah, that we can be able to come back home, and a schus for a continued refuah shalema, that we be able to see as Simcha Dov indeed not only get better from this current challenge, but a refuah shalema, they should be able to be completely better. I would like to share with you a thought that occurred to me in the hospital as we were there once again. A good friend of ours, one of the doctors in the hospital, suggested that we post pictures of Simcha Dov on the wall behind him, so that when nurses or doctors come into the room, they'll be able to see Simcha Dov not only as the patient laying in the bed, who they are not able to connect to in his advanced stage of ALS, but they'll be able to see that he is indeed a vibrant person who had a history, a healthy history, and they'll be able to relate to him better. And indeed, that's what happened. As the doctors or nurses would come in, they would see the pictures, and then we would have a conversation. We would be able to share bits and pieces of Simcha Dov's personality, and their behavior changed. The way they related to him changed. And I realized what an important piece this was. And that sometimes we need to be able to see those pictures. Similar to we find that today the families of the hostages need to post videos and pictures of them so that the world at large can relate to them as humans and understand that there's this tremendous tragedy that's going on. And that is a very important piece. And I realized perhaps that's the insight of the masks that we wear on Purim. The point of the mask is not to per se hide the person behind them, but in fact to make a person look deeper. Just like as people looked at the pictures, then that led them look deeper and see that there was a human being here who had a vibrant life and has a tremendous value and has a personality and a family that loves them. The picture is only two-dimensional, but it allows the person who's seeing the picture to see a deeper world. So too, the concept of the masks of Purim are to be able to allow us, when we look at other people, not to just look at the mask that we see, but to understand that there's a deeper picture. And indeed, we do the same thing with the Beis Hamikdash as well. Right now we're in Galus, and we don't know what it's like to be in Geula Shlema. We don't know what it's like to have a Beis Hamikdash. But when we have pictures or we hear stories, it allows us an insight, a deeper perception into what we are lacking. And therefore, the idea that occurred to me is that it's important that we learn a lesson from this situation. And that when we go in the street and we're walking or we're traveling and we see people, and perhaps we see them when they're frustrated or they're angry or they do something, not to look at them as a picture, as a two-dimensional figure, but realize this is a human being who has a life, who has aspirations, who has tremendous meaning and value, and to give them our attention and to give them our compassion. And then I had another thought, and that is, I realized that we don't need those pictures. The family don't need the pictures or the videos. And in fact, the pictures tend to be a very small reflection of who they are, and we try to convey so much more with stories afterwards. But in our hearts and in our minds, we see Simcha Dov as he once was, and we try so hard to share that with other people. And we want more than anything else, we want him to be back. We want him to be healthy. We want him to be able to be vibrant the way he once was. And we don't need pictures or videos to help us understand that. I then understood that Hashem is the same way, even more so. Hashem doesn't need our tefillos to bring back the Beis Hamikdash. Doesn't need us to understand that what we are lacking and how much and how important it is to have the Shekhinah dwell in the world. And that just like we have a tremendous amount of pain and yearning for that redemption of our own child, Hashem has that yearning for that redemption, for the Shekhinah, and to bring the Beis Hamikdash back, and to have that vibrant relationship with us, His people. And it doesn't take the pictures, and it doesn't take even our tefillos to make that happen for Hashem to have that feeling inside. So, I have a deal that I would like to make with Hashem. We desperately would love to see Simcha Dov healthy and vibrant again. And just as the families of the hostages want more than anything else for their loved ones to be returned and to even to be healthy and to be able to be once again amongst their families. And we would like a resolution for this terrible situation that the world is in right now. But we know that the chances are for the Simcha Dov to get better is not possible, al pi teva. And it would really require the Mashiach to come and the Gula Shlema to allow Simcha Dov to have a Refuah Shlema. But I also know that Hashem wants to bring the Gula, and He doesn't need our tefillos to bring the Gula. So how about this? Bring the Gula Shlema, bring Mashiach, let the world be fixed, and we will be able to also have Simcha Dov back in a healthy and vibrant way. It's a win-win situation. So our tefillah and our bakosha is indeed, may this time as we go from Purim, and we saw the small geula that we had now in the refuah that we had from the current machala, may we now be able to go into Pesach, and we soymech geula to geula, and to see not just the small geula of Purim, but the geula shleima of Pesach, where Hashem takes us out from Galus and brings us back and gives us mountain and Torah and builds the Beis Hamikdash, and we'll be able to see the Geula Shlema and the Refuah Shlema and the Yeshuas for all of us. And we ask Hashem that you do this for us, we ask you do this for the world, and we ask that you do this for yourself, for to be able to bring the Shekhinah and to bring the world to fruition as is your most innermost desire, as much as it is ours.
Palach,